Hey, everybody, welcome back to Change Your Perspective, Change Your Awareness, Change Your Life. I'm Dr. Michelina. I'm a leadership consultant, a meaningful life coach, a logotherapist, and we specialize here in mindset, identity, self-awareness, and communication. We are here to change ourselves so that we can change our lives. If you're not here for that, I don't know what to tell you. Go find somebody who's going to lie to you because I'm not the one for it. All right. I'm going to tell you the facts. And the facts are nothing changes in your life when nothing changes in yourself. And so self-mastery is always the name of the game. Got lots of videos on it. If you're joining me now for the first time, you're going to want to check some of them out. But what I want to talk about today, the next series, is leadership. Okay. Leadership is my sort of flagship specialty. Choosing to lead with productive influence. And most people that you don't get along with, including and not limited to yourself, is because they're not in good leadership. So we're going to talk a lot about what leaders are and what leaders are not. And so when you look around at the world today, a lot of what is super just depressing, disheartening, upsetting is that we have no good leaders anymore. We have no good leaders at the top. Our leaders are pathetic. Our leaders have the minds of children. Our leaders make calls and we're like, what was that call? Why? Right? And so we don't have the sort of men and women of courage that we used to have, the men and women of good discernment that we used to have, the men and women of good leadership that we used to have. And so when it comes down to what makes somebody a good leader or a poor leader, the first, and I think the most important thing, is faith over fear, courage over cowardice. And there are a lot of ways to be a coward, okay? And what ends up happening most of the time is that we get traumatized in our 0 to 21 ages, 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21. And then we think we can't. We limit ourselves. You look around at adults, 20, I guess 22, adulthood. When does adulthood actually start? To really, fascinating discussion we're not going to have today. Let's say 25, when the brain stops kind of developing as it does. 25 to 50, 60, 70, 80, you look around at adults and most of them are very cowardly. Got a lot of cowards out there. Okay. And what I mean by that is people who don't want to take risks, who don't want to do something different, who don't want to take chances, who don't want to learn new things, who don't want to grow, right? They want to stagnate. They're afraid to step out and do something new. That is cowardly. That is cowardice. Courage is not, and this isn't my definition, Lord knows, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is just feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And we don't have a lot of that now. Right? We don't have a lot of people who are like, damn, this is terrifying, but here I go, ready to do it. And so as a byproduct of that, we do not have good leaders. Now, that's all very nebulous and you can get on board with that, right? You're like, yeah, you're right. Definitely not. Apply it to your own life. Now it's not as fun. Now it's not as fun because now when we look at ourselves, it's like, where am I being a coward? We don't want to have that conversation. Nobody wants to have that conversation, right? Where am I hiding? No. Nobody wants to have that conversation. Now, as you know, I talk about this a lot. There are 7 places where we can actively choose life. 7 places we can actually actively choose growth, okay? Physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, sexual, financial, and spiritual. And so if you're not actively choosing growth in any of those 7 places, you are passively choosing death, which is to say, if you are not actively looking to improve those 7 areas, you are hiding in them in your life. I know nobody likes that. I know nobody wants to hear that. But if you are miserable in your life, it's because you are miserable in your life, because you're hiding, because you're scared, because you're being a coward. And if you're turning it off now, that's fine, because brave people, courageous people, good leaders confront their own inadequacies. We are not perfect. No human is. And so the sooner we embrace that, and the sooner we say, oh crap, there are definitely some places where I need to improve, is the sooner you'll actually improve. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of good leadership to do that. It takes a lot of good self-mastery, self-discipline, self-reflection, self-awareness. It takes self-work. Self-work is not sexy, okay? It's not sexy. It is necessary. Anybody who sells you anything different is a liar, okay? Self-work is the only way to get where you want to go in yourself and in your life. It is that simple. We overcomplicate it. We're like, oh, well, our boss and our job and no, you're a coward. That's it. You're a coward. That's it. What do you mean I'm a coward? You're afraid to leave your job. You're afraid to do the hard thing. You're afraid to X, Y, and Z thing. And nobody wants to be called out like that. Nobody wants to think of themselves as a coward. But anywhere you are not showing up willing to try, not excelling or succeeding. That's the thing that makes being a good leader and courageous so difficult for people. Is it's not about showing up in excellence. It's about showing up willing to do the things and make the changes. It's about showing up like, okay, I'm here to do the work, but I don't even know what work I'm trying to do yet. So let me figure that out. It's about I can do. It's a can-do mentality. I might not know what to do, but I know that I can do something. Where do I start? Most people who are not in good leadership, who are cowardly, do not even want to start. They're like, oh, I know I need to work out, but I hate the gym, so I'm going to sit on the couch instead. Cowardly. You're choosing death in the physical category. I'm so much debt. My finances look awful, and I can't make ends meet, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to keep my old habits up. Cowardly. You're choosing death in the financial realm. You don't do any self work mentally, emotionally. Cowardly. I'm afraid of my emotions. I'm afraid of my mindset. And then everybody wonders why everybody's miserable, depressed, and unhappy. And so choosing to be courageous looks a lot like flipping from an I can't mentality to an I can mentality. That's all it is. Flip from I can't to I can. Of course I can do this. I don't know how, but I can. Good leaders have an I can mentality. And even better leaders have a we can mentality. And because I like that so much, I'm going to write it down here. I hope you're writing it down too. And so if you have an I can or we can, I can and I will, we can and we will mentality, you're on the road to good leadership. You're on the road to where you need to be going. Because that mentality will exist in all different facets and areas of your life. That is a courageous mentality. I'm going through it. I can do it. We can get this done. Let's go. That's the kind of person you want to be around. Too often, too many people are like, I can't do that. I wish I could. I wish I could, right? That's like number one phrase of the coward. I wish I could do that. Get out of the wishbone, get some backbone. I think Joyce Meyer says that. We need less wishbone and more backbone. We need less cowardly, more courageous. And so if you need that, if you want that, this series is going to be very helpful for you because we're talking about leadership. This is actually, like I said, this is where I thrive, excel, have my doctorate in. This is what I wrote my dissertation on. Like when it comes to leadership, this is where I've failed miserably. I have failed in good leadership. You know, as a leader, you don't do a lot of things that I've done in the past, got myself in trouble for, so trust me when I say leadership is the number one most important thing to change your life. Good leadership. And what is leadership, by the way? I would be remiss if I didn't define it. Leadership is influence. John Maxwell brings us that definition. It is the best definition out of all the leadership books I have read. Leadership is influence is the best. Why? Because everybody has influence. So we got a lot of people out here who don't think they are a leader. But if you are alive, you are leading. Because if you are alive, you are leading yourself. Again, assuming you're not a child, and I have no room for children. So if you are an adult, you are leading yourself, maybe others in your position at work or your position in the family. If you have children, you are absolutely a leader. If you have a spouse, you are a leader. If you don't live under a rock, you are a leader. And so if you are a leader and you are being cowardly, you are part of the problem, not part of the solution. And by cowardly, I mean not actively choosing life, choosing to grow, choosing to show up differently, choosing to show up better. And so don't wonder why you're not happy. Don't wonder why your life isn't what you want it to be. Because if you're not leading actively, you are following. You are following everybody else's design for your life, everybody else's plan for your life, everybody else's everything else. Doesn't serve, doesn't work, it's not productive. And so with that being said, I want to encourage you to do the work, do the self-work, okay? And you're like, I don't know where to start. Okay, great place to start is free stuff. There's so many people now that have podcasts, that have YouTube channels, that have TikTok channels. Like there are so many valid, valuable sources out there that will help you. Okay. Obviously you're here, so you can definitely use me too. That's why I'm here, but do the work. Okay. Figure out where you're hiding in your life. Pick one of the 7: physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, sexual, financial, spiritual. Pick, I've seen so many people. You can have a wound in every single one of these areas. If you were bullied as a child, you probably have a physical wound, and you might not want to dig into that because it's embarrassing or it's scary for you. If you grew up 0 to 21, you've got emotional wounds. Everybody does. Oh, that's my washer being really loud, guys. If you're hiding intellectually, you have a school wound. Someone told you were stupid, right? You're not. You spiritually, maybe you have an off relationship with God, you were raised in some way and you don't like it. There's so many church wounds, economy wounds, financial wounds. Everybody's got it until they don't anymore. So you're not special. I mean, you are a special snowflake, but also you're not special. Everybody has these kind of wounds. Everybody has to work through these things. Okay, everybody has to actively choose life in these ways. And so good leadership is actively choosing life. Good leadership is actively self-reflecting, getting self-awareness, knowing I cannot change anything out here. I can only change everything in here. That's all I got. If you need help doing that, then comment below, find me on one of my channels. I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, I am one-on-one coaching right now. I have a leadership program that's a 12-week program. I have a self-mastery program that's a 12-week program. Lots of things that are beneficial to help you be transformed from the inside out. If you are not ready for that step yet, keep watching the free things. That's what they're here for. And if you want to really change your life, you really need to change yourself. Change your perspective, change your awareness, change your life. That is what we're here for, right? So I will see you guys on the next episode. We're talking about leadership all week, and I hope that this is helpful for you, and I will see you next time. Oh, like, subscribe, tell your friends, grow the channel. Word of mouth is often the best way to grow these things. See you next time.